Ty's story is a big one, just like him. He's a bloke with stature and a massive heart and a history to match. Ty's early life was soaked in drugs, crime, and mental health challenges. But it was when his mum died that everything really snapped. He had a needle in his arm within 9 days. This episode walks through that decline. Psychosis, community treatment orders, padded cells, and being force-fed meds until he became a slave to the medication. This is a conversation about losing your mind and slowly finding it again in recovery, unmedicated, connected to a fellowship, and actually present. It's about a bloke the system had written off and how a single phone call and one person showing him kindness, compassion, and love cracked something open and gave him just enough hope to walk inside the doors of NA, lean into spirituality, and start rebuilding a life he never thought he could have. Please enjoy this conversation with Ty. Hi, this is James. Welcome to Slaying Sober, where we tell stories of addiction, recovery, and hope. Wherever you are in your sober journey, know that you do not stand alone. A quick heads up before we dive in. Slaying Sober episodes get colourful, sweary, and real about drug use, wild nights, and the messy road to recovery. We share a powerful message of enlightenment and hope in an entertaining style that we hope lifts you up. But at times we get deep and touch on themes such as suicide and idealisation of chaos. If that's too heavy for you right now, take care of yourself first and come back later. We're here for honest stories, not to trigger. Listen when you're ready, and thanks for your support of Slaying Sober. Ty, welcome to Slaying Sober. Thanks for coming in, mate.
All good, James. Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
We're going wild today, mate, and we're in a studio.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is. It's a good setup in here. So thanks for finding it.
I was all right. I thought it was going to be in like a factory area, but it's pretty cool.
Tell us about where you grew up, Ty.
Look, I born and raised Ferntree Gully, so I'm Ferntree Gully boy. Like my parents had a house on Dairy Lane, Philadelphia Court. If you know much about that area, like I never had much chance. I was hanging around the good crowd. Like mum and dad were great. Like I made my own mistakes. You know what I mean? So like, my family were always awesome. But so yeah, born and raised Ferntree Gully.
And tell me about your first experiences with drugs and alcohol.
Well, I was the kind of kid at school. I was in primary school. I was chubby. Yep. Well, I'm obviously chubby now still, but it hasn't always been the case. But yeah, I got bullied a lot, and everywhere I went, I got bullied. Like, and I just didn't fit in, and it sucked, And then so I got to high school, lost a bit of weight, and started hanging around the so-called troublemakers and class clowns and cool kids, as you say. And then I started smoking weed at probably 12, 13, and about 12, and I was at peace, I was laughing, you get the munchies, and it starts out like that, all fun and happy and all that. Next minute you're wagging school and sitting in the garage smoking heaps of chuff, and I just went further from there, so like, and then it became an everyday thing, and then you get involved with more substances, and
so it escalated.
Yeah, 100%, real quick. Yeah.
To what?
Well, probably at 14, 15, I was using speed and all that sort of magical stuff. The party drugs were huge. Used to drink like at parties, like a normal person would take their 6-pack. I'd take my slab. So I wasn't just I never have been able to just have a little bit or a tiny amount. Like I was always all or nothing.
Yes.
At an early age, like even with drinking, like, and it wasn't just sipping either. Like we'd have sculling contests and like, so I had high tolerance to alcohol and weed at that stage, and I just went from there. Like,
Did you know that you were consuming abnormally?
well, not really, because all the people I was hanging around was either the same, like similar to me, but like, I just didn't see it as a problem. I didn't really know that age. I just thought that's the normal thing. The people I was hanging around were all doing it. I was. Yeah, it took things to extreme. So like, if he could do that, I could do this, and like it was a competition type thing, and like, at the start it's all good fun, and but now looking back on that, I realised that I was just looking for that escape, and to not feel that shit that I didn't want to feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there consequences in your teens?
Yeah. Yeah. I got my first charge was stealing a bottle of absinthe from the IGA in Knoxfield.
Okay.
So my mates are like going in and they're like, "Oh, you got to do this. We need drinks." I'm like, "All right." So I did. Busted me straight away because I was young. I didn't steal anything before that. And like, he caught me. The cops came and family found out, and it was a huge thing. A huge thing. Yeah, it was really hectic, and then obviously that didn't scare me to not live that life. Like,
so that was your first toe in the water with crime?
Yeah, first criminal charge. It was when I was like 14, 15. It was about stealing a bottle of absinthe from IGA. I remember that.
How did your crime escalate as your addiction?
That's a good question. When you're in the, because I started out on chuff, then I went to, I got to about 18, 19, and there's a lot of pills, ecstasy tablets around back then, and we started selling it to them in the city, and you'd sell a few hundred, and I'd keep 50 for myself for the weekend, and I was just, and that's where the party drugs and the speed and the other things got really heavy, and
so you were commercial quantities.
Yeah, it was a fair go at it. Yeah. So so I'd go out on the Wednesday and get back on the Monday. So I was only home for like a day and a half. Like in the city the whole time, and and then that led to like more crime. I've done heaps of crime. So selling, I got done with trafficking a few times, and also a lot of when I was homeless and doing it rough. When it gets further in the story, like just little things like theft from cars and stuff like that. A lot of theft from shops, and like Bunnings was a big one. Dealers love tools, I was always doing Bunnings. Yeah, so I've got like I don't know, 450 charges or something.
Right.
But
we'll get back to that a little bit. Tell me about when you were moving these pills when you were, in your late teens, early 20s.
Well, it was just there was a lot of ecstasy in the city, and there was a few of us that went in and went like thirds in it, and I wasn't really interested about selling it. I was more interested in using it. I really didn't give a crap about selling it. Really, I was just too involved in having it and taking it.
So you were doing it to feed your habit. It wasn't. Were you running with some pretty wild people?
Yeah. There's been a lot of hectic people I've met that are now not longer with us or in jail still. Along the way, like there's probably over 50 people that have passed. Yeah. What goes with addictions like suicides, overdoses, people getting not well, like shot or whatever, and there's been a lot of. I'm really actually lucky to be sitting here. There's a lot of hectic scenarios where I thought, well, this is it. Yeah. And it's just a lot of crime, and I'm really grateful I'm out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So how did your addiction go from sort of taking these party drugs? You mentioned there that you became homeless.
Yeah, that's a bit further down the track. So like, when my addiction really took hold was when Mum died. That was huge for me. And all through my teens, young age, like she knew what I was doing.
So how old were you when she passed?
8 days before my 21st. So she died on the 8th of Feb. My birthday's Valentine's Day. So it was 8 days for my 21st. It was a sudden death. There was no cause of death. She just usually passed away, just dropped dead. We did an autopsy and biopsy, no cause of death, like unknown natural circumstances. I'm
sorry to hear.
No, it's all right. Like I work through that every day, So but that's really the main spot where I'm like, and I had that night, like I went out and obviously wasn't well, and I remember my mates took me out for my 21st to Hog Breath Cafe, and they were bringing out a shot of tequila every like 10 minutes, and I was smashing them down. And then I went out on my own after that, and I that's when I first used like properly IV, like you know, and yeah, that was different. Like once that happened, I was never looking back. Like you know, and my first taste was heroin. I'm very lucky that I was only on that for about a year. You know, I substituted that with Valium and methamphetamines, which I then found was my drug of choice. Yeah, which is the ice. So
you were on heroin.
Yeah.
Within sort of 10 days of your mum passing away.
Yeah, I wasn't well. Remember, like yesterday, I was in Kilsyth, met this bloke. I'm not going to mention names, but yeah, he's like, went back with him and his missus, and yeah, I had it, and I watched how they did it, and I did it myself. Didn't ask any, no questions asked. So when you learn to do it yourself, that's when you're in trouble, you know.
Yeah. Now, how did that make you feel?
Like the first time, it was like you're in heaven. Like, yeah, you know, you have it, that feeling, if you know what I mean, and like you're just euphoric, and it's dangerous, and that's what you're forever chasing, you know. And
did it take away the pain?
Yeah, it did, until you. Well, that's what all addiction does, you know. You use and use and use and use, but when you're coming down and you don't have anything, that's when it all comes flooding back, you know. Especially early recovery. Like early recovery is hard. Like even today, like I'm 6 months and 5 days off everything, all medications, all drugs, alcohol, gambling. Like you know, that's huge for me. And it was only yesterday. I was at Furniture Gully meeting last night, and like I was overwhelmed. Like it's only been the last week, especially where I'm starting to feel actual love, and that's huge, you know. Yeah. But I suppose that's why most people use drugs, you know. It's not because it's a huge party and it's mad. It's because they're masking traumas or shit they don't want to feel, you know. And that's what I did for 20 odd years, you know. And yeah. But that was a huge pivotal point in my life where I went, fuck it, I don't care no more. When Mum died, she always had my back. Always come looking for me at my gangster mates' houses, you know. Yeah. Didn't give a shit about them. She's like, get him out of here, you know. And she'd drag me out, and you know, shortly and also with my early addiction, like I had psychosis at age 16, you know. A lot of mental health work, like around the house in French Gully, mental health place. They diagnosed me with drug-induced psychosis, with schizoaffective disorder, all this stuff, you know, which Mum had my back. Yes. Always in the psych wards visiting when I was in a padded cell. Like always there, no matter what. So I always knew I had that back up there. When I was down and out, I had no one. When at an early age, Mum was there. So when she died, like a part of me died too, you know, and you know, it was very difficult, you know, it was. Yep. And also, like, along with that, like, so my mum died, and then, like even a year after that, one of my best mates passed away of being too big, like overweight, like his addiction was food. And that's very hard to this day still, because, like, I promised him I'd never get as big as he was, and I'm only sitting 20 kilos less than when he died, you know? Yeah. So that's a huge thing I'm battling now, you know? Yeah. But that's coming next. You can't win them all at once, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So one addiction at a time.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, you can't win them all. So my mum died. Lance died. His name was Lance. He was Samoan Kiwi. He was the best, gentlest soul in the world. Yeah. And then like a couple of years after that, my cousin Kylie passed away from cancer. And those were my three supports. Like I got my nan. Like I've got to mention Nan. She's great. She's like 92. She's always been. I've always been really tight with my nan. Yes. And like she's really next level, like a matriarch of the family, like, you know, like that's one of my fears, you know? Yeah. One of my fears is she's 92, she's not getting any younger. Yep. You know, I've been speaking about it with my auntie, and like, that's going to rock me, you know, like, that's going to rock me. Yeah.
But also she gets to see this version of you now, Ty.
Yeah, and she's been there too.
Where you're getting well. She's had addiction?
No, she's been with me through day one. Like, she's seen my everything, you know, and whenever... Say, for instance, when I got kicked out of home after Mum died because I was on drugs and they couldn't deal with me, that's fair enough, you know? Yeah. So I could always go to Nan's and she'd have me for months and even a year, and even for a night, or even visit me in hospital, or take me to emergency, or... When things were rough, Nan was... She can't say no to me. I'm the number one grandson still. So, like, I have an ongoing joke with my mate, my cousin Josh. Like, he's never done anything wrong. And like, oh, he has, but he's never... I'm the black sheep. Yeah. And I'm still number one to Nan, you know? And like, we have this ongoing joke, which is like, the number one grandson's here, bruh. And then, like, so the other day, my cousin Josh over there cutting her lemon trees down, and he got on the phone because I was speaking to Nan. He's like, it's a number one grandson here. I'm like, Nan, is that right? And she's like, No, you're even. I'm like, I'm coming to see you soon. And she goes, that's cool. Thanks, number one. I'm like, Josh, I was short-lived. Yeah, but
that's so good.
yeah. So Nan's my rock. Like I'm telling you, like next level. I've got a beautiful sister too.
Yep.
Maddie. You know, and I'm really grateful for this fact that she just had a baby like 6 months ago, and the whole time my little nephew Bodie has been alive, I've not had a drug in my system.
Yeah.
And that's huge, you know.
Yeah.
I think that was a turning point.
Yep.
You know, my sister saying to me one night when I wasn't well, she's like, I'm pregnant. When this baby's born, if you're still on drugs, you're not going to be in his life.
Wow.
And that I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
I needed to hear that.
It's like a tough love.
I've been trying to get right since I've been to rehabs when I was 20. So I've done bulk rehab, bulk jail, psych wards like over a long time.
So let's take a little step back.
Yeah.
So your mum passed away.
Yeah.
You used heroin intravenously.
Yeah.
Very soon after that, and you continued to use heroin for a year.
Yeah, around a year. Yeah, I was kind of like mixing drugs, so I was on heroin, but I don't have ice. Just to make so I wasn't
Uppers and downers and
it was anything.
Yeah.
So I'm a polysubstance abuser, man. I don't care. I'll have whatever. You know, like I've done every drug you can think of, and it's been in huge amounts. So not really well. I've been.
And you said you found your drug of choice in this period of time.
Yeah, methamphetamines, man. Like when the speed, it's obviously stopped coming in, and the chemical, whatever they had in the pseudo, wasn't. Yeah, however it worked. You know, meth came out, and it's like when I had that for the first time, and I used that intravenously, like it took my breath away, and I'm like always searching for that rush, like that feeling you get when you have it, and like and that's poison that takes your soul, like that. You know, it takes your soul, takes your spirit, leaves you broken, homeless, familyless. Like
how did that look? How did that decline look?
Well, I just didn't give a shit about anyone or anything. All I cared about was my next hit, who I was standing over to get that, or who I was hurting to get that, or what crime I could commit next to get more.
Yep.
You know, and it was just not a good place, you know, which then led to homelessness, more psych wards, and then eventually jail. All caught up with me, and they said, look, you don't want the help, we're not going to give you the help, so go to jail. Do not pass go. So...
when you went to jail, how did that look for you?
Look, you know, all those people can say, "Oh, jail's easy" and all that shit. Like, I hate jail. You know, like especially these days, all young people that are on the meth and like they're really not well, and it's just an ego show, you know, like. Yeah. And like I just don't like what it's about. I don't like how they don't help you reintegrate back into society when you leave.
Yeah.
And like all the prison guards are dicks, you know, like they're all really out to make your life hell.
Yep.
Where I think it should be about, you know, giving people courses to do, or, you know, maybe even, they do have NA people come out, which is in silly times of the day where you're always doing other things. There's got to be more help. Like the system's not very good. You know, like I left 17 months ago into homelessness and I was straight back to addiction. I left on a Sunday. I had like $1,200 in my prison account. They didn't give me my money because it was a Sunday. And I'm like, well, let me stay another night then, you know, like. Yeah. So I was in Deer Park, Ravenhall, and then I leave on the Sunday, and they're like, we can't give you your money. I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Like, I'm here. There's no bus coming here on a Sunday. Yeah. What do I do?
What did you do?
I stole one of the security guards' cars and drove to Melton Station and hid the car, and that charge has popped up. But
from prison? Yeah. You stole the security guard's car?
Well, I'm guessing it was one of the security guards' cars, but it wasn't good. You know, and that as they come up, and the charge has been sorted. I finished corrections on my birthday, on Valentine's Day, and that's huge. I've never been able in my life, done drug court in the city. Yeah. Failed that within a month, went straight back to jail. I then got put on all these corrections, never finished one. Yes. You know, and this is the first time where I've done extra stuff on top of the corrections order, like with my mental health. Yep. I'm now no longer on a CTO, community treatment order. I'm no longer taking any medications.
We'll touch on that in a bit. Yeah.
But also, like, on my birthday, I'm nothing on my shoulders. You know? And that's huge, you know what I mean?
Congrats.
Yeah, it's mad. It's really cool. Yeah.
And so how long were you in prison for?
The first time was probably about 4 months. Second time was about 8 months, and the third time was 15 months. Along with, like, you spend a lot of time in remand and then you get released. Like, all up probably about 2.5 years, maybe a bit longer or less. Yeah, around that. But
You were in and out of prison.
yeah. And a bit of that, yeah.
Now, you touched on your mental health
Mm-hmm.
and the diagnosis surrounding that.
Yeah.
You said you got your first diagnosis in your teens.
Yeah.
How did that look?
So I wasn't well. My so-called mates and associates were playing mind tricks on me and stuff, so which is not very good of them, but, you know, that is what it is. So they were saying when I ever got to a place, they'd say, well, the police were here. And they weren't.
Yeah.
You know, so they're all tricking me to believe that the cops were after me.
Yeah.
So my first psychosis, I snapped, and I was driving some car. I was driving a car at some stage. I would have been about 17, and then I see all these lights. So I was having a delusion, and the cops after me.
Yeah.
So I had a psychosis. So for months they were playing, like, all these different group of friends were saying, cops were here, cops were here, cops were here, and they weren't. They were just snapping my brain, and it happened. It really did.
Yeah.
So I had a psychosis. Saw police behind me. There was no police. It was Ann Road in Knoxfield. Like, there's no drug bus or police on that road.
Yeah.
Ever. And I saw that. I parked the car, hid under a bush for like 8 hours. Got home to mum and dad's house. There was army crawling up and down the stairs, thinking the SWAT team's coming in. This is how nuts I was. So we had a puppy, Rocky, at the time. He's now passed on. He's old age, you know.
Yeah.
So, like, I had this puppy in my bed next to me saying, oh, well, if the SWAT team come in, they're not going to come in because I've got this puppy. That's how not well I was. Like, no, the puppy was, like, going to protect me from the SWAT team coming in. And the puppy was, like, 6 weeks old, you know. I'm like, what the... And then I remember sitting out having a smoke and sitting out there watching the Hey Hey Saturday reunion show. Daryl Summer was speaking to me.
Yeah.
Like, I was getting delusions from Daryl Summer saying, it's okay. The SWAT team aren't going to hurt you. It's you're safe. And I'm peaking. Like, I was not... I remember it like yesterday. And then...
Was it drug induced?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% drug induced. And also these people playing games with my brain. Yeah. So it was a mixture of two, you know. I suppose all the traumas and bullying, it just all it all comes up, you know. And so I snapped, and I wasn't very well. I spent like a while in the hospital.
A mental hospital.
Yeah, Maroondah Psych Ward. That was the first place, and I underwent ECT treatment, like shock therapy back then.
When you get taken to a mental health facility or psych ward, what do you recall what happened at the time?
Not all the time, because when I'm not well, I black out. I used to black out when I was not well.
Yes.
So there's been a lot of cases where someone says, you did this, and I'm like, what?
And you'd wake up in a psych ward?
Yeah, in a padded cell, yep.
Yeah.
Or with metal restraints on a bed. And like,
is that traumatising in itself?
I hate hospitals.
Yeah.
I hate how the mental health system is as well as the jail system, but mental health is just as bad.
Yes.
There's a few nurses that are okay, but
But it must be quite
it's a worst.
A shock to come to if you've been in some form of blackout and you're coming to restrained in a hospital.
So for me to come out of that first psychosis, I had to undergo ECT treatment.
Yeah.
And it would have been about the 7th or 8th treatment I had, where I'm looking up and mum was sitting there, my nan, and what's going on? Like, you know, and it wasn't very good, and I was heavily medicated because I'm a big dude.
Yeah.
They pumped me full of needles and
they're shocking your brain.
Yeah, they put you to sleep and they put electrodes on your head and they
without consent.
Mum and dad I don't know how it worked. I was young, so I don't know what they had to do, but I had ECT therapy, which is shock therapy.
Yep.
It's a bit hazy back then, but I undergo a few of them, and it gets to the point where, like, if you don't urinate before you have the shock therapy, you piss the bed. Like, it's obviously not good for you. You know, I was very unwell, very lost, very broken, very hazy. Doctors diagnosed me with schizoaffective disorder, all this mental health jargon, and I was heavily medicated, and I was on a CTO, which means I had to see the board of friggin' whatever they call the mental health board.
Yeah.
I sat there with my uncle. My uncle came with me, Nev. He's passed on now, but you know, he always had my back, and they pretty much take all my rights off me, And unless I follow and have this injection every month, I hate medications.
Yep.
Because I've been forced to take them for over 15 years. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is really I hate medications. It's just a legal version of drugs.
Yeah. Well, it is
the mind altering bullshit that really stops growth.
Yeah.
So I was a slave to medication for 17 years nearly, and I'm really passionate about this topic. Like when you get forced to take a substance you don't want to take.
Yeah.
And when you have the depot, I was on risperidone, I was on Zuclopen, Thixol, I was on Abilify. They've changed me all these years, right?
So this is mandated by this psychiatric hospital.
Yeah, and if you don't take it,
Ty can go out into the community
if he's on this.
On the basis, if he's on this and this and this drug, that you then attend site to.
So for the first few months when I left hospital, they'd come out to the home.
Yeah.
And they'd administer this depot injection. And then you have to take your pill. I was on antipsychotic pills. I was on an antipsychotic depot, mood stabilizers, antidepressants, It was not very pleasant.
Because you're a risk to yourself or to society?
Bit of both, I think. I think it's because I'm not a little person, and like when I'm obviously mentally unwell or whatever it may be, they just don't want the risk, which is fair enough. But at the same time, so that when I got out of the hospital, that led my addiction to go even further.
Yeah.
Because like when you are in a depot and you have these medications that bring you like a zombie, of course you're going to use meth to bring you up so you can do normal shit again,
Yeah.
So the brain's obviously struggling a bit. I'm using all these depots and that I have to take.
Yes.
And I'm using bulk methamphetamines to level out, which is not well for the brain either.
Yeah.
It was just a wave of just... it was really not well. It wasn't good. And like...
Did you, when you were incarcerated, you weren't using drugs?
I was still using drugs. Not the drugs you think of. So for instance, I was on the methadone program. I said, when I got in, I was on meth. So I told him, I was a heroin addict and I got on the methadone program. So I'd have my dose every morning. So, that'd get me through. But also on top of that, is people on meds will chop and change their meds and you get what you're given and all that sort of stuff too. And like, bupe's a huge thing, the bupe strips and all that sort of stuff. And there's jail fits and jail needles and all that stuff that you can do. And,
so you were still,
I was still affected by drugs in jail. Yes.
That's the insanity of it.
It is.
It?
Yeah.
And just whatever you could get your hands on.
Yeah. It wasn't very pleasant. It's only been, I've tried, this recovery's been about 15, 16 months, but I've obviously clean 6 months and 6 days. Yeah. So I had one lapse in 15 months, and that's huge.
So you came out of jail 17 months ago.
Around that, yeah.
And then what led you to seek sobriety?
I've been, this journey, the last 20 years, I've done 10 rehabs. 10 detoxes. I've done the Basin Association Army Bridge program about 5 times. I've done when I was under 30, I did the one in Bendigo, the same program, Bridge program with Salvation Army. I've done Windana 5 times. Odyssey a couple of times. Never the only ones I cleared was the Basin. All the other ones are like a behavioural type thing, and also TC, so you have to check your behaviours, and I didn't like that. And I'm very... I used to be very angry, especially when you're getting clean. Yeah. You don't know what you're feeling, and you're like, fuck that, I'm good with anger, so I'm just going to stick with anger, you know? Because when you're feeling the hurt or the pain or the grief or the loss or the... even other feelings, good on the other spectrum, happy and that, you don't know how to feel, or even confrontations in rehab too, people calling you out on your behaviours, and you're like, hang on. So it's really hectic. I was not very good. I was pretty angry, so I got kicked out a few times.
Did you want to give up when you had all these other attempts?
Not really. No, I knew I was doing it for me. I had to do it for myself. I couldn't do it because my family wanted me to do it.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it because the police wanted me to do it. I couldn't do it because the government wanted me to do it. I had to do it when I hit my rock bottom.
Yeah,
because I've had plenty of them.
Yeah,
each one was worse than the next one.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what changed me. So I was sitting in hospital after an overdose. Backtrack a day. So I was at my mate's house in Carrum Downs, and I had heaps of drugs in front of me. I wanted to end it. Yeah, I was done. I was at my wit's end. I was just off jail, back to full-blown addiction. Didn't see a way out. I was homeless. My mate Glenn took me in, and we just used heaps and heaps and heaps. There was meth, heroin, juice, and the people that were coming over were just crumbs, you know?
Yep.
I'm like, fuck this, you know? So I had heroin sitting there in a needle, and I had this phone call from this lady, and it's from AXO. Her name was Beck. So shout out to Beck if she sees this. Like, she's changed my life, 100%.
Yeah.
And she rang me and she goes,
What's AXO?
AXO's like a drug and alcohol place, also mental health. But they rang me to do an intake for having support on the phone. And she rang me and I was about to have this gram of heroin. So she rang me and she spoke to me for an hour. It didn't change my mind. I still had it after the show. But that call, like, it was huge. So I went to hospital after my overdose. She rang the ambulance while she was on the phone to me. She knew what I was going to do. She saw my location somehow. I don't know how the phones work. And she got an ambulance. So I had the heroin, overdosed, and had an anaphylactic shock at the same time. Ambulance got there. I got brought back to life, all that stuff. Woke up in hospital on suicide watch. And that's where I was back in the psych ward, obviously, and that was huge for me. I'm like, fuck this.
So you knowingly took the heroin to overdose?
Yeah, I did.
Like a fatal dose.
It's pretty hard to admit that stuff, like, you know, and like I did. I was done. I was broken. I was lost. You know, like I couldn't fight anymore. I'm sick of this same pattern. Like, I'm sick of these people that apparently like me, like all the drug associates and criminals. Like, don't give a shit. Like,
well, your mate that you were with at the time,
he's actually the only good one that actually uses.
Yeah,
and is actually still a decent human, I reckon. He always had a place for me to stay.
Did he know you were going to try and end it?
No. It probably would have been pretty traumatic for him, having the ambulance jump in, punched in, and I still have to make amends for that to him.
Yeah.
Which I've got to be very careful about. He's actually moving into a nursing home soon. He's very heavy, a very big guy. But I've got a lot of love for him.
Yeah.
He was in the old war. He used to be in the wars. He was a mercenary. So he's got a story too. That's why he used. Like, and I'll probably brought more addiction to him. You know, like he was only using 0.5 gram a week, and then after I left, we were having 0.5 gram shots. Like, it was just not good. I really led him down the wrong path, and I feel really guilty for that.
Well, God's will that you'll make amends.
Yeah. It's just one of those things, you know.
Hear
like
this and get well, maybe.
Yeah. I pray for him every day. Like he's always let me have somewhere to sleep, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I end up in hospital on suicide watch. I'm in the bed with these security guards and nurses, and like my family didn't know where I was. And obviously, you know, friends that in depth, like you get an NA and the meetings, like you don't have friends like that when you're using. And
gave a shit about you. You didn't.
No, well, my family did, but like also at the same time, they didn't know where I was. I went on my rampage, went to jail, and like I had no connection. I was really unwell, and I was broken. Then another very important part of my story is this lady sitting with me every day, Jo from Dandenong Psych Unit. She's a peer support, lived experience worker. She sat with me I couldn't communicate because I was heavily medicated.
Yeah.
100% heavily back to medication. And this killed me. Like, it absolutely killed me. So they'll give me a needle every day, an Accuphase. So if you know much about mental health, when you have Accuphase, you can't do shit. You're sitting there, you're dribbling. It's not good.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's for their
basically it turns you into a...
Yeah. And then, so she fought for me every day. She saw how much I was struggling. And she sat with me every day and spoke to me, and I couldn't really conversate back. But then she somehow got them to give me less each day. And then she sat with me and she started speaking to me about like, what's going to change this time? Do you need help? She goes, you know, and she's mentioned NA and the rooms and all that. And she's told me her story, and something really just lit in me. I went to NA 9 years ago. I could not, not purposely. Like I went there and
court ordered or whatever.
No. I was drug affected, and I blew out on juice out front of a meeting. And I remember all the NA members come out and wait till the doctors got there, the ambulance, and that's what planted the seed. Like, you know, that's always there, and these people care.
Yeah.
But this lady Jo from the psych ward, she sat with me every day, and she even come out with me when my mate BJ picked me up from the psych ward.
Yeah.
She sat with me out there too.
Yeah.
Give me a pack of durries, like, Like, it
Sounds
really
like
goes to show there is some really good people out there.
Sounds like a bit of an angel.
She's Grouse Joe, yeah. And like that changed me. Like having that person sit with me every day, even though I couldn't conversate, and telling the nurses, and the nurses didn't listen to her much because they're like, "Oh, she lived experience." Like they really judged her, and treated her like shit. And I'm like, it's just really hard, like because when you're a lived experience, you get it. When you don't you've just done the paperwork, and you're like, "Oh, so this is how you're feeling." Like I don't relate with that shit. People who go either work in rehabs that have lived experience, they're the ones you go to.
Yes.
They're the ones I gravitate to anyway. I'm not saying everyone, but for me, I don't gravitate to people that have just done the paperwork.
There needs to be a crossing, doesn't there? Like a lived experience and medical professional, you know, and how do the two coexist with one another?
And a lot of, it's just one of those fine lines because like even in all my psych ward admissions, or even when I'm injured, like in hospital, they look at your drug history, background of being an addict. Yeah. You go into hospital, I'm telling you from history and past experience, that they judge you straight away. They put you in a category, or you want pain meds, so no, we're not going to give you X-rays, you just want pain meds. You know, I remember this one time, about 6 years ago, I got assaulted. My mate in Trentry Gully, I was at his house, and he's like, "Can you help me kick this guy to my house? He's been living here rent-free for a few months." So I said to him, "Oh, do you want to leave? Like, you're using and abusing my friend." And so he went out the back, got a metal pole. I turned around, he smashed me in the face with a metal pole. You know, and I then threw him to the ground. He had a seizure. You know, I'm sitting there, my shoulders got burst. I had bursitis because of this, and my face is obviously not well. He got taken by the ambulance. I walked to the hospital, and I got there for 5 hours. I sat in the waiting room. I then went into it was a William Angliss Hospital. I got born there as well, so it's pretty unbelievable. I went to the hospital, and I'm sitting there 5 hours in pain, man. My face wasn't well. My shoulder I was in pain, and I was on drugs, so I usually don't feel pain. So I knew something was up. And I'm like, just do the scans. I don't want none of your pain meds. Like, oh, we're not going to. I'm like, do the scans, you know. And they did the scans after another 3 hours being there. So it's about 8 hours we're sitting there. He comes out, the doctor, he's looking at me, and he's gone, "I'm so sorry, you are in pain, aren't you?" And this is really emotional because when you get judged in every hospital you go to, they just think you want drugs and pain meds, and you actually really want help. And they decline you for 8 hours, and you're sitting there. He goes, "You're going to have facial reconstructive surgery, and your shoulders got bursitis, and you need help. Here's some pain meds." I said, "No." I said, "You can keep your pain meds." I said, "You can get fucked." And I walked out, and I never returned. I've with such a hatred towards hospitals and that. So there's been a number of experiences like that, you know, where you get put in a category of being an addict. So don't look at them like they look at this person. Like the system we live in is so not right for addicts. Like there's no help.
And it's a really tough one, Ty, because I'm sure that there's good people out there. But as an addict, we have a propensity to not trust authority and institution because we've been wronged by them so often. But also then you've got like Joe that's sort of sat there with you who, whilst she's not employed by the hospital as such, she's part of the solution. It's just a really tough space to navigate, isn't it?
It really is, man. Like that's my experience. Like a lot of people might have good experiences, hospitals and all that stuff, but like, and I own my part. Like I'm the addict, you know. I've done that side of things. So if I was on the other foot and I was in hospital, like I'm not going to say I judge. I don't judge anyone, but like from them who've never done obviously anything bad and looking at me and they're like, you know, like, and they're probably, who knows, like,
but well, like, and also for every one of you that comes in that genuinely needs help, maybe there's two others that are trying to abuse
trying to get a quick fix,
or whatever. It's like even, you know, on a different scale, like I wouldn't be medicated for ADHD because they're not going to give me amphetamines because I'm a recovering addict, you know, and I find that that's really like interesting. I can't get life insurance, you know, that's as simple as it is. Like I've got a very fortunate life in many ways, but I can't get life insurance. So my business partner's in this weird sort of predicament where he's insured and I'm not because I've had treatment for my addiction.
Pretty crazy, isn't it?
I know. And I called them and said, like, hey, I can deadlift 250 kilos and run a half marathon. Why can't I get insurance? And it's just as simple as, sorry,
you're an addict
in recovery. Call us in 5 years.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible how you get put in the category and box, but it's pretty harsh world we live in when it comes to that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
That concludes part 1 of Ty's story. Please come back tomorrow to listen to part 2. Thanks for joining us on Slaying Sober. Thanks for joining us today on Slaying Sober. If you're sober curious, in addiction, or know someone who could benefit from listening, please share this episode with them. Jump over to Instagram and say g'day at Slaying Sober Pod and follow us on Spotify to hear the latest episodes come out. Until then, keep slaying sober.